The first time I heard my father's voice coming from a hidden recorder in my own house, I thought I was losing my mind. I had been searching for the source of a strange clicking sound in my dining room for almost an hour. At first, I blamed the smoke detector. Then I thought it was an old security sensor. Finally, while wiping dust underneath the table, my fingers touched something taped to the wood. It was a tiny black recording device, no bigger than a pack of gum. I stared at it, completely confused. I had never bought it. I had never seen it before. Out of curiosity, I pressed play. The first few seconds were just ordinary background noise. Plates clinking, chairs moving. Then I heard my own voice from a family dinner the week before. I smiled for a second, wondering if someone had accidentally left a recorder behind. Then another voice came through the speaker. My father's. Calm, cold, deliberate. He said, "Good job, Daniel. Keep recording her. I want to know every conversation before she signs those papers." My heart stopped. Daniel was my younger brother. I replayed the sentence 3 times because my brain refused to accept it. My own father had been secretly paying my brother to spy on me inside my own home. My name is Sophie Bennett, and this is the story of how the people I trusted most turned my family into a surveillance operation, and how one forgotten recorder destroyed every lie they had spent years building. I grew up believing my family was ordinary. We lived just outside Denver, Colorado, in a quiet neighborhood where everyone knew everyone. My father, Richard Bennett, owned Bennett Construction, a company my grandfather had started almost 50 years earlier. It wasn't a billion-dollar corporation, but it was successful enough to provide a comfortable life. My mother passed away when I was 16, so from that day forward, it was just my father, my younger brother Daniel, and me. Losing my mother changed everything. She had always been the heart of our family. After she died, my father became colder. Not cruel, just distant. He buried himself in work and expected everyone else to do the same. Daniel reacted differently. He became the center of my father's attention. Dad worried about him constantly, protected him, made excuses for every mistake. If Daniel failed a class, Dad blamed the teacher. If he crashed his truck, Dad blamed the weather. If he quit another job after only 2 months, Dad said he simply hadn't found the right opportunity. I didn't resent my brother. I loved him. But I couldn't ignore the difference. Whenever I made a mistake, I was expected to fix it. Whenever Daniel made one, someone else fixed it for him. By 28, I was already serving as Chief Financial Officer of Bennett Construction. Not because of favoritism, because I earned it. I had studied finance, completed my MBA at night while working full-time, and helped modernize the company's accounting systems. Profits increased. Debt decreased. We expanded into 3 neighboring states. The business had never been stronger. Everyone congratulated my father. Very few people knew how much work happened behind the scenes. That never bothered me. I wasn't looking for applause. I just wanted the company to succeed. Daniel, meanwhile, floated from one career to another. Real estate, insurance, cryptocurrency, a fitness startup. None of them lasted. Eventually, Dad gave him a management position inside the company. Nobody knew exactly what he managed. Even Daniel couldn't explain it. He spent more time walking around the office carrying coffee than making decisions. Still, his paycheck was almost as large as mine. I never complained. Family businesses are complicated. You learn to choose your battles. Everything changed 6 months before I found the recorder. My grandfather passed away at 91. His death devastated all of us. He was the founder of Bennett Construction, the man who built everything. A week after the funeral, our family attorney called. Grandpa had left an updated trust. Inside were detailed instructions for ownership of the company after his death. According to the documents, my father would remain CEO, but ownership would be divided. 40% to Dad, 30% to me, 30% to Daniel. I was shocked. Not because I wanted the shares, because I had no idea Grandpa thought so highly of me. Dad didn't react the same way. He smiled politely during the meeting, but something behind his eyes changed. Later that evening, he invited me to dinner. Just the two of us. We met at my favorite Italian restaurant. Halfway through dinner, he leaned across the table. "Sophie, I think Grandpa made a mistake." I looked at him. "What do you mean?" He explained that splitting ownership would make future decisions more difficult. He said one person should control the company. Naturally, he believed that person should be him. Then he asked if I would sign my shares over. Just like that. No discussion. No negotiation. I smiled politely, then told him I wanted time to think. His smile disappeared almost instantly. "It's only paperwork," he said. I nodded. "But it's my paperwork." That conversation ended quickly. Over the following weeks, Dad asked again, then again, then again. Each time I politely refused. Not because I wanted control, because Grandpa had clearly made his decision. I wanted to respect it. That's when strange things started happening. People inside the company somehow knew private conversations I'd only had at home. A confidential expansion proposal disappeared from my office, then reappeared on Dad's desk. Daniel suddenly knew details about meetings he had never attended. At first, I assumed someone was gossiping. Then one afternoon, Daniel mentioned something impossible. He joked about me considering selling my downtown apartment. I stared at him. I had only discussed that idea once. Over dinner. Inside my own house. Alone. Or so I thought. I asked how he knew. He laughed nervously, then quickly changed the subject. For the first time, I felt uneasy. A few weeks later, I invited my friend Ava over. Ava worked in cybersecurity. She helped corporations investigate data breaches. While we were making coffee, she noticed something strange. A small wireless device plugged into my internet router. She asked what it was. I told her I had no idea. She unplugged it, looked closely, then frowned. "This isn't from your internet company." I asked what it was. She shrugged. "But somebody installed it." We searched the house together. Nothing else looked unusual. Until she asked a simple question. "Who has a key?" I immediately answered. "My dad. My brother. And my housekeeper." Ava nodded slowly, then said something that stayed with me. Sometimes the biggest security threat isn't a stranger. It's someone who never needed to break in. I changed every lock that same afternoon. I didn't tell anyone. 3 days later, Dad called. He sounded irritated. He asked why his key no longer worked. I froze. I had told nobody. I casually said I replaced the locks because one key had gone missing. There was a long silence. Then he laughed. Too quickly. "Good idea." Something felt wrong. Really wrong. Then came Thanksgiving. Dad insisted everyone celebrate at my house. I didn't argue. Dinner was awkward. Dad kept asking about the ownership papers. Daniel barely spoke. Instead, he kept checking his phone. Several times, I noticed him leaving the dining room for a few minutes. When dessert was finished, everyone left. The next morning, I found the recorder taped underneath the dining table. The same recorder now sitting in my hand. I replayed the audio again. This time, the recording continued. Dad's voice returned. "She's getting suspicious." Daniel answered quietly. "I know." Dad replied. "Then hide the next one better." I felt every hair on my arm stand up. The next one. There wasn't just one recorder. There were more. And suddenly I realized, if I wanted the truth, I had to stop acting like the victim and start acting like someone who already knew she was being watched. The moment I heard my father's voice mention a second trust document, I knew everything I believed about my grandfather's estate was incomplete. For weeks, I had assumed this fight was about 30% of Bennett construction. Now I realized it had never been about 30%. It had always been about one document.
They see you outside?
One document my father desperately wanted to keep
Give me 5
hidden.
minutes to scan
The
the
next
frequencies.
morning, Ava and I drove to the office of my grandfather's
see you
attorney,
outside?
Charles Monroe. Charles was
locked. Give me
81
5
years
minutes to
old.
scan the
He had
frequencies.
represented my grandfather for nearly 40 years. When I asked him about a second trust document, his expression changed immediately. He didn't answer. Instead,
see you outside?
he quietly closed his office door.
It's locked.
Then
Give
he
me
looked
5 minutes to
directly
scan the
into my
frequencies.
eyes. Your grandfather told me this day might
Did they
come.
see you outside?
My heart started racing.
It's locked.
Charles
Give me 5
walked
minutes to
toward
scan
an
the
old
frequencies.
filing cabinet. He unlocked the bottom drawer, then another locked box inside it. Finally, he removed a thick sealed envelope. Across the front, written in my grandfather's handwriting, were 6 words. Only open if Sophie is betrayed. I couldn't speak. Neither could Ava. Charles slowly handed me the envelope. My instructions were very clear. I was never allowed to open it. Only you. With shaking hands, I broke the seal. Inside was a handwritten
you
letter
outside?
and another legal document.
It's locked.
The
Give me 5
first line
minutes to
nearly
scan the
made me
frequencies.
cry. My dear Sophie, if you're reading this, then someone I loved has chosen power over family. I stopped. My grandfather knew.
They see you outside?
Years before his death. He already
locked.
knew.
Give me 5
I
minutes to scan the
continued reading.
frequencies.
Richard has always believed Bennett Construction belongs to him because he is my son. He's wrong. This company belongs to the person who protects its people, not the person who controls its money. Tears filled my eyes. Then I reached the second document. It was titled, Successor Trust Amendment. Charles smiled quietly. I've been waiting 10 years to show someone that paper. I looked at him. What is it? He adjusted his glasses, then calmly explained. 10 years earlier, my grandfather had secretly changed the trust. If Richard ever attempted fraud, manipulated ownership, or acted against another beneficiary, his controlling interest would automatically disappear. Control of Bennett Construction would immediately transfer to me. I stared at the page. It was signed, notarized, witnessed, completely legal. Suddenly, everything made sense. The hidden microphones, the pressure, the forged paperwork. Dad wasn't trying to gain 30%. He was trying to stop himself
They
from
see you
losing
outside?
everything. Charles looked at me.
It's locked.
Your
Give me 5
grandfather
minutes to
knew
scan the
Richard
frequencies.
better than anyone. He hoped he would never prove
see
the
you outside?
amendment necessary. I quietly
locked. Give me
folded the
5
letter,
minutes to scan the
then
frequencies.
looked at Ava. We're ending this. That afternoon, our attorneys requested an emergency meeting of the board of directors. Every executive attended,
Did they see
every
you outside?
shareholder, every family member.
locked. Give me
Dad
5 minutes
walked
to
into the
scan the
boardroom
frequencies.
looking confident. Daniel followed behind him.
see you outside?
Both smiled. They had no idea.
locked. Give me 5
Dad
minutes to
opened
scan
the
the
meeting
frequencies.
himself. He immediately began discussing future ownership changes. He once again suggested I transfer my shares. Then he smiled politely. Sophie, I hope today you'll finally make the right decision. I smiled back. I already have. He looked pleased. Excellent. I slowly stood, then placed the hidden recorder on the conference table. The room became silent. Dad's smile disappeared. Without saying a word, I pressed play. His own voice echoed through the
They see you
boardroom.
outside?
Keep recording her.
It's locked.
I want
Give
to
me 5
know
minutes
every
to scan the
conversation.
frequencies.
No one moved. Then another recording played. We have to convince Sophie before she discovers the trust amendment. Every board member turned toward my father.
see you outside?
Daniel looked completely pale.
It's locked.
Dad
Give me
stood
5
up.
minutes to scan the
This
frequencies.
recording is illegal. Charles Monroe calmly interrupted. No. It's authentic. Then Charles walked into the room carrying the sealed envelope. He introduced himself, explained his relationship with my grandfather, then handed every board member a certified copy of the hidden trust amendment. Silence. Complete silence. The chairman slowly read every page. When he finished, he removed his glasses, then looked directly at my father. Is this your father's signature? Dad didn't answer. The chairman asked again. Finally, Dad whispered, "Yes." Then everything happened at once. Board members started asking questions. The company attorney demanded explanations. The outside auditors requested financial records. Daniel quietly stood up. "I didn't want this." Nobody responded. He looked at me, then suddenly began crying. I only wanted Dad to be proud of me. I looked at my little brother. For the first time, I saw the frightened little boy he used to be. Not the man who betrayed me. Just someone who spent his entire life trying to earn approval he never received. He admitted everything. Dad bought the recording devices. Dad ordered him to install them. Dad paid him every month. Dad promised one day the company would belong entirely to both of them. Every word was recorded. Every confession written down. My father looked at Daniel in complete disbelief. "You idiot." Daniel looked back. "No, I'm tired. I'm tired of lying. I'm tired of disappointing everyone. I'm tired of disappointing myself." For several seconds, nobody spoke. Then the chairman quietly announced the board's decision. Richard Bennett was immediately suspended as CEO, pending a criminal and financial investigation. His voting rights frozen. His executive authority removed. Then the chairman turned toward me. According to the trust amendment, I was now acting chairwoman of Bennett Construction. The room applauded. I didn't. Because this wasn't victory. It was tragedy. I had won a company, but I had lost my family. Weeks later, the investigation uncovered years of financial manipulation, secret payments, unauthorized surveillance, corporate misuse of company funds. Dad eventually resigned permanently. Daniel accepted responsibility for his role. He received probation after cooperating fully with investigators. Before sentencing, he asked to meet me. We sat together in the same park where we played baseball as children. He looked exhausted. "I don't expect forgiveness." I smiled sadly. "I know." He looked down. I kept thinking Dad would finally be proud of me. I quietly answered. "And was he?" Daniel started crying. "No." I reached across the table, held his hand. "You spent your whole life trying to earn love. Real love isn't earned. It's given." For the first time in years, we hugged. Not because everything was fixed, but because healing had finally begun. 3 months later, I officially became CEO. The first thing I did was remove every unnecessary surveillance camera inside company offices. Then I introduced anonymous ethics reporting, financial transparency, independent oversight, and one new leadership rule. No family member, including me, would ever receive a position they hadn't earned. Employees applauded. Investors applauded. Even long-time clients noticed the difference. One afternoon, I visited my grandfather's grave. I placed fresh flowers beside his headstone, then quietly read his letter one last time. The greatest inheritance is never money. It's the courage to protect what's right, even when the people you love stand against you. I folded the letter, smiled through tears, and whispered, "You were right, Grandpa." Because my father believed power came from controlling people, my grandfather knew something far more important. Real leadership comes from protecting them. And that became the legacy I chose to leave behind. The end.